doing well. Nice to have you with us on this Wednesday afternoon, the 21st day of February, 2018. Nice to have you with us as we talked about what's going on in the world of sports on a great Sirius XM 82. Yours truly, Christopher Russo at 888 Mad Dog 6. That's your two-way sports talk telephone number. And this might be one of these opens. It's middle of the week, and I am bored stiff. This might be one of these opens where I basically, tell you everything I don't want to talk about as an open to the program today. I'll see how I feel in the next 20 seconds as we chat to you about what's cooking. If you can play that Carly Simon song, I get into that again as we babble away here and get you home. There we go. This dopey beginning. But I can't get enough of Working Girl. Maybe that will get me home here for the next 5 hours here. Talk about Lindsey Vonn all afternoon, but that will bore me to tears. I mean, she gets an awful lot of publicity, who's won one gold medal in about 100 years with this skiing and with the eyelashes and, the attractiveness and this drama queen aspect to her. Find me somebody in America rooted for Lindsey Vonn outside of NBC. I could not get into that under any circumstances as far as the downhill skiing yesterday in the Winter Olympics. We could talk about that on this busy afternoon. We can also talk about the women's hockey game tonight. I know Colin Schmeling back from mononucleosis. We'll get into that at 11:10. The USA against the Canadian team. They haven't beaten Canada in a while. It's a big game on NBC Sportsnet. You don't think NBC is going to put it on primetime, do you? It's an NBC Sportsnet tonight. You and 30 others at 11:10 can watch that. Hit it. I could also talk about the Florida legislature. Nice job being tone deaf by those dopes who somehow voted 71-36 against to ban assault rifles being sold anywhere in the state of Florida. This amidst the Parkland massacre with 17 people. But I don't want to bum anybody out here on this Wednesday afternoon. I can talk about the pizza guy. Oh my gosh. You do a little video eating a little piece of pizza on that Barstool Sports. We can't get us. People, we throw something on SoundCloud, we get 3 hits. We can't get anybody to pay attention to that. I go have a bite of pizza and I got 500,000 people talking about tuxedo pizza, including my 15-year-old, my 17-year-old girl. Even my wife says not bad. They wouldn't listen, watch, tape, nothing. TV or radio. I do a little pizza hit for 30 seconds at some dive on Times Square, and the whole world wants to talk about pizza and tuxedo pizzas. I got texts today from everybody in America. Dog, funny, great job, never heard of it, tuxedo pizza, blah, 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 blah. It tells you where the world is coming to, and I'm trying to do a halfway decent sports talk program here for you today. We can talk about that. We could also talk about Mark Cuban, who we're supposed to believe, doing that Shark Tank dopey show and bouncing around at the Montage in Laguna Beach. We're supposed to believe that this guy rampaged through the Dallas offices for about a decade, with women afraid to get in elevators, with this guy who was a nutcase, sexual assaulter, the whole 9 yards, and Cuban had no idea this was going on under his noses. I mean, come on, huh, Mark? He's at every ball game known to man. It's the same guy who traded Steve Kerr. He's at every ball game known to man, sitting in that. Well, I don't know if he's been there this year at 18-40, but he can comment about let's lose the tank, yet he doesn't know that there's a guy in his offices who is basically rampaging through every department and has to get the hell out of there. I mean, come on, Mark, have a clue. I mean, your job, and you're a how-to owner. You're sitting there every single day, and you're at every ball game. At least you used to be when they were decent. I haven't paid attention lately, yelling at officials and everything else, and you have no idea that this guy's in your operation causing all this grief. That's a joke. SI reports that last night. I could do that today if I wanted to, but I don't want to get involved. That's danger ground. We're going to stay away. So we can spend a few minutes about that, few minutes either about Steve Torrey and his pepperoni pie with the family away. You think he maybe hop on a treadmill for 6 minutes. I mean, my gosh almighty, not a thing about him. I could talk about Rob Manfred today. Manfred, of course, had his press statement, press release, or his second gathering with the media out there in Arizona 24 hours ago, basically saying that it is not on necessarily just us as far as pace of play and mound visits are concerned. That's what Justin Verlander indicated, he of the Astros, who's had a lot to say this spring training so far, and Verlander doesn't like the idea that we have put a limit now on mound visits, and he said, well, it's either going to work or it's not going to work, and it's going to be on the Park Avenue office who implemented this, and Manfred took exception, saying this is an understanding on both parties, so I expect both parties to have equal involvement in making sure that we speed up the games and everything else. We can discuss that today as far as pace of play is concerned. Manfred, of course, who wants to basically say that this is an agreement regarding pace of play on both sides and it's something monumental. No, it's not, because they had a chance to get the pitch clock in there and the players balked, so Rob took it easy, didn't go crazy, and instead came up with mound visits. They only averaged each team about 7 mound visits a game last year, so I don't think this is going to be a major adjustment. We can talk about that today. We can also talk about the Tampa Rays, who made a big trade with the Diamondbacks and the Yankees. The Yankees got some infield insurance and Brendan Drury from Arizona. Arizona replaced J.D. Martinez with a much cheaper alternative in Steven Souza, who hit 30 home runs last year from Tampa. And Tampa continues to go the way of the Miami Marlins, realizing that a better day is when they get a ballpark up on the ground up in Ybor City, and they say, what difference does it make if we win 81 games or 71 games? We're going to draw 1 million fans. We still stink, so let's sit tight and get rid of a lot of our players and rebuild for the future. Is Chris Archer next as far as the Rays are concerned? Yankees get that insurance. It's funny about the Yankees. Sometimes you can be a Scott Brocious type, end up in New York, play third base. Aaron Boone did this too, and basically, go along for the ride, hit ninth, hit your 18 home runs, play a decent defense, and see if Stanton and Judge, Severino and Tanaka can take you to the promised land. That's where Brendan Drury finds himself in on this busy afternoon. I can do that today if I wanted to as far as the baseball is concerned. We can go resume with the NBA today. This season, somehow, it's not the halfway point. There's basically 5 games left. The NBA is the only league in America who decides to do their All-Star break 75 games in, but they will sit there and they will resume the season tomorrow night. They gave them the extra couple days off with the extended All-Star break. I tell you, there's a void in sports right now. You'd like to think the NBA could have filled it. They did not. We'll sit there tomorrow night waiting for some games again that, if you want to call them of consequence, as far as the NBA regular season is concerned. Cavaliers will continue tomorrow night against the Wizards. We can discuss that today. We can discuss Nebraska today. They beat Indiana last night, made me happy. Tori again on the pepperoni pie on the couch. Lauren and the other kid is away, Luke, down in Arizona. He has done nothing. And don't tell me he's listening to Left Close Live. He ain't. He has done absolutely nothing but basically get up, fought around all day, get the train in, pretend he's into something on his phone, reading a story on the Yankees, and he's all revved up. I happened to call him last night. I had a board meeting last night on a golf thing. I happened to call him up at 10:20. I figured, you know what, maybe he's learning something and watching 60 Minutes or rerun. No, not Steve. Steve's sitting here watching Indiana and Nebraska in the last 5 minutes of a basketball game, with Indiana, on their way of playing in not the NCAA and not the NIT, the College Insider Tournament, and yet Steve's all pumped up. We can discuss that today if we wish. We can discuss Colin Schmeling today, who claims that he had mononucleosis. We all know better. Eddie Erickson told me about 6 times in the last 7 days. What a joke Colin is. Knows the second child is coming. He can take weeks off in the summertime with the new deal that we have here at Sirius, where if you're a father-to-be and the baby comes, enjoy 5 months off before you have to come back to work. God, when Timmy was born, I was back to work in 48 hours, for crying out loud. Kira, same thing. Patrick, I didn't even take any time off. And Colin, I could care less. It was a hot day on a Thursday. He was born. I was there at work on Friday. Not today. I mean, my gosh, Colin Schmelling's going to take 3 months off because the second child is coming. Give me a break. Anyway, he has mononucleosis, Colin Schmeling. He said he did. And everybody here at the radio station, including Bill Zimmerman, who took the 4 dogs and the girlfriend on a drive from Islip to Arlington, Illinois. Only Bill would do that. Stopping in Youngstown. First thing he told me when he walked out the door last Friday, what a joke Colin is. How dare he interrupt my vacation where I got to find board ops because he claims he's got mononucleosis. We can talk about that today if we wish, but we'll pass. And he owes me a lot of money because the Islanders are not getting 87.5. Take that, the law, and to the bank. Thank you very much. We can talk about Eddie Erickson today, who's claiming now that he's going to, really do a bang-up job for the missus, who's celebrating her 55th birthday, and he's going to go out there and he's going to spend a week out in Long Island. I asked him yesterday about it. He's going to Montauk Point. I said, Eddie, how about it? That's a nice little vacation. No kids, just you and your wife. Yeah, I'm going for 24 hours for a special birthday. So that we can talk about that today with the great Eddie Erickson. Or, we can talk about Working Girl today. I can't get enough of it. Melanie Griffith, Harrison Ford, Philip Bosco, Sigourney Weaver. 88 should have won the Oscar. We can talk about that today, too. Lots on the table. We'll get your calls in a sec. Calls fell apart for Steve early. When you leave with Lindsey Vonn, and before 1 o'clock, you never heard of her, didn't know she won the bronze medal in skiing, and have no idea about the Winter Olympics, you're not going to get a lot of calls. So Steve did his monologue from 102 to 106. Let's go to the calls, and there was nobody there. All of a sudden, it became chicken and steak at 120. You like the Winter Olympics better or the Summer Olympics? That's my lead-in. Bring back Bruce Murray and Michael Zinn. What was his name? Mike Yam. Zinn. Michael Yam. Bring those two back. We were flying. The pizza guy. Bring that back. 16 after the hour. We're back right after this.